I have recorded this episode about 400 times. That might be a small exaggeration, but definitely more times than I would like to admit. And I think it's because I'm overthinking this.
I recently had a request for a video topic that really forced me to stop and think. How do I plan out my car camping trips? Before this subscriber reached out to me, I had never really given it much thought, let alone trying to work out how to explain to people my process. In this video, I'm going to do my best to let you all know what steps I take in planning out my adventures.
It's pretty simple how I plan a trip. I figure out how much time I have, how much money I'm willing to spend, and a really great place to go.
Helpful tip number 1. I keep a list of adventures I want to take someday. I spend time researching these trips by watching YouTube videos, talking to fellow travelers, and making notes on places I would like to visit while I'm out on the road. These trips range from simple weekend trips to the mountains to do some backpacking, to dream vacations exploring Antarctica and New Zealand. When I have a chunk of free time, I go to my list and choose an adventure. Because most of the research has already been done, I'm okay with not knowing in advance all of the little details. I can easily just pack up my car and go.
It's been really hard for me to try and make this talking head video interesting, mainly because I'm not really into talking head videos. I'm more interested in watching people's adventures, but I also understand why people are curious about how I plan my trips and how I'm able to just get in my car and go. So I've whittled it down to 5 main points, and I'm going to get through them as quickly as possible, and hopefully you'll have the information that you need to have the confidence to just get in your car and go, because that's the point. That's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to not overthink it. I want you guys to just grab your bare necessities, get in your car, and just start driving. Here are the 5 things that I think are important when planning a trip. The first is how much time do you have? The second is what type of adventure do you want to go on? What I mean by that is, are you more of a destination person or are you more of a journey person? These two things, in my opinion, sort of tie together, because if you have a lot of time, then make it the journey. Get in your car and just start exploring. Just start driving for 2 weeks if that's what you have. I've done that a couple of times and they've turned out to be some of the best adventures that I've had in my entire life.
My very first road trip was during the fall of 2020. My destination was the Denver Gem Show. Because my business had been shut down, I had all the time in the world, so I drove over 2,000 miles, hitting 5 states, 4 national parks on the way there, and 2 on the way home. I also drove through several national monuments and points of interest. When I was tired, I stopped, and when I didn't like what I was experiencing, I changed plans. It was the most epic choose-your-own-adventure I had ever been on.
This is really easy to do when you're solo traveling, because the only person you have to answer to is yourself. When I'm traveling with people or I have limited time, I'm more of the destination type of person.
Helpful hint number 2. Whether you're flying by the seat of your pants or planning out every detail, buying park passes will make your adventure more convenient. You never know when you might end up at the entrance of a state or national park. It is so nice to just be able to pull over on a whim and have lunch overlooking Bryce Canyon, for example.
It's important, in my opinion, to understand whether or not you're a fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants type of person, or if you need to have things more organized and planned out. Both are right, in my opinion. I hope this doesn't come off as a judgment towards people who travel in one way or another. I myself have done both. I've had fun doing both, and I don't put much thought into that anymore. I think I'm more comfortable with pulling over on the side of the road and sleeping. I'm more comfortable with stealth camping in a neighborhood than I was a year ago, but it's because I've been doing it now pretty much at least part-time for over a year. And I've learned a lot, and I've experienced a lot, and I've realized a lot of my own I've realized a lot about my own comfort zones and what I'm willing to put up with and what I'm not. If you're first starting out with car camping and you're really nervous about sleeping in a rest stop or trying to find BLM land or which Walmart you can stay in and what the different state laws are, it can be really overwhelming. I totally get it. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And so my advice is just do it. Just get out there and do it. If you want to look online really quickly and figure out the state laws, I highly suggest you do that. For example, in California, you can stay at a rest stop for 8 hours. In other states, it's up to 24. BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management, you can stay for up to 14 or 15 days before you need to mosey on out. Number 4 is planning around weather. I take this pretty seriously because I sleep in the back of my car and I need to make sure that I can stay at a comfortable temperature at all times. This includes sleeping in the snow and sleeping in the heat. As you know, cars heat up really fast and they keep their heat pretty well, it seems like for a long period of time. So how are you going to make sure that your car is comfortable in both extreme heat or cold? Extreme weather. I'm not gonna pause this again. However horrible this video is, I'm sorry. I hope you're getting what you need out of it. All right, and finally, number 5, what is your safety plan? What is your get out of jail free plan? How are you going to deal with situations in your adventure that you were hoping not to deal with? A really common fear for people who are just starting out with van life or car camping is the inevitable knock on the window from a police officer or a security guard or somebody telling you to move along. Here's the reality of that situation based on my experience. It's just a knock on the window and the person is just going to tell you to move on. The one time that I received a knock on the window from an actual police officer, he was actually telling me that it wasn't safe for me to be there because they were expecting a severe snowstorm and that my car would be buried and they would not be plowing it. So I could stay there if I wanted to, but it would be in my best interest to move on. So of course I did that. There are a couple things I do in order to make sure that I am safe at all times. One, of course, is checking the weather and making sure that I'm prepared for that. Another one is having a credit card with a zero balance. So in case of emergency, like I need a new engine or squirrels chew up the cords or the wires in my engine, I have enough money to get back home. And then of course, how am I going to stay personally safe while I'm sleeping in the back of my car? Whether that's mace or a weapon or shatterproof glass on your windows, whatever it is that you come up with in order to stay safe in the back of your car is really important, and it's important to think about before you get on the road. In order to keep this video as short and to the point as possible, I have not covered in-depth car safety or how I choose a place to sleep while car camping. If those are things that you're interested in knowing more about or knowing my process, and this video wasn't too painful to watch, please let me know in the comments below and I'll make more. Like I said, I'm not usually somebody who enjoys talking head videos, and so I try not to make them. But if this is information you guys like, I'm happy to share.
I can't believe you made it to the end of this video. I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for your constant love and support. I love sharing my adventures with you, and I hope you have been inspired to have some of your own.